Right, let's look at last scenario of operators in the examples. So we used it, we looked at how we tackle multiple choice questions. Now we're going to look at how we tackle structural questions. So we're still going to use the same truth tables and we start with the questions. So you're given a table and you're given the symbols and their meanings, and then you're supposed to convert to first order logic. There is a dust storm. What is this? There's a dust storm is R. Only if is an implication. It is windy. It is windy is P, but is a conjunction. It is not cloudy, which is Q. So we have R implies P and not Q. So you can put brackets here because conjunction is much more binding than implication. All right. So that's just it. Next, we look at if there is a hailstorm, right? So this is if there is a hailstorm, so the S imply, because we have an if, comma, there is neither a dust storm nor the temperature is the temperature above 35 degrees Celsius. So what does it say? If this is true, then it is not true, right? We want both of these to be false. There is no dust storm and the temperature is not above 35. There is no dust storm, not a dust storm. Where's the dust storm? Dust storm is R, and no the temperature is not above 35 T, like this. Another way to write this, if you just want to show off, would be to say the negation of R or T. This is based on our discussion earlier in the second video, I believe, when we said not R or T is equivalent to saying not R and not. Moving on, it is windy. Windy is P, or not cloudy, not Q, or the temperature is above 35 degrees T, unless there is a hailstorm. So it's negation of what comes after unless, negation of what comes after unless there is a hailstorm, not a hailstorm, implies P or not Q or not R and S. So now we are being asked to convert these two to English. So the negation of R and S. What is R and S? R is there's a dust storm and there's a hailstorm. So the negation of that is not both dust storm and hailstorm. Right. So we're saying this is equivalent saying not R or not S. So remember, this is R and S was true, false, false, false. This is true, 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 false. So it is true over here, where one of them is true or none of them are true. So we see it's not that or that. Either there is no dust storm or there is no S is hailstorm. So this will be the perfect way to interpret this. So I'm saying either not this or not that. Next one, S implies Q and not T. S implies Q and not T. So I usually want to start this with if S, then Q and not T. What is S? If there is a hailstorm, then Q and not T is it is cloudy, but the temperature is not above 35 degrees Celsius. Not Q, not P or not Q, and P or Q. Not P or not Q is not P and Q and P O. So it's not both P or Q, but we also have P or Q. So the combination of this happens when we need exactly one to be true. So we can write this and say either P, it is windy, or Q, it is cloudy, but not both. All right, let's look at another one. Bob does not need a parachute unless he plans to jump from the plane and the plane is flying at 25,000 feet. Bob does not need the parachute, so if negation, needs a parachute is P, unless we've got an implication, unless this. So implication, and then we negate whatever is in this big bracket. He plans on jumping, so that's Q. From an end, plane is at 25,000 feet and R. Another way to then rewrite is not Q or not R implies not. Lastly, we have expressed the following in English. R and Q implies P and S. R and Q, if the plane is flying at 25,000 feet, flying at 25,000 feet, and Q is Bob plans to jump from the plane, then we now have this. P, Bob needs a parachute, and an oxygen mask. Oxygen. I want you to observe something. Once we have introduced a subject, say Bob, right? This statement of Bob, we know the subject is Bob, so we can join multiple statements knowing that we are talking about. So when you read this statement, all across, you know it is Bob who needs a parachute and an oxygen. So let's leave it there. That's it for propositional logic operators. Try examples, and if you have any questions, feel free to.